Hello, everyone. And as you know, my name is Zenzi Sewa. And today my guest is Julie Heaton. And she's got a story to tell. And I'm going to let her tell it herself. But before we start, Julie, I'm in London. Where are you?
I'm in Franklin, Tennessee.
Oh, Tennessee. I was there about 2 months ago, but for a funeral. So,
Oh, I'll
okay.
be in London at the end of the month.
Oh, lovely. Oh, well, at the end of the month, I may be around. I'm due to go away to Thailand.
Oh, that's fun.
I need some sun. I mean, we're in summertime here. That's the we're there's a time difference, so it's like 5 hours. So here it's afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and for you, what is it? 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. 10 o'clock.
So 7 hours behind. So afternoon for us, going to late afternoon, going to tea time, and morning for you. So what's the weather like? What's the weather like at your end?
Right now, we're leaving spring and headed to summer, so it's a little warmer. I think we're going to hit 80 today and humid, 80 and humid.
Well, we did have some sun before, and then it's gone, but it's still a bit warm. But anyway, enough of that. Julie, as I said, Spiritual Infinity is about people's spiritual journeys. So, what's your story? Let's hear it. What made you connect to your spirituality? What forced you? What push did you have?
Gosh, that's a good question. And, if you think back, it starts really young, when I
Always.
was always.
I was going to say always. Some start later, but generally, yeah.
When I was a little girl, I was brought up in church, but I always was the one that questioned everything, everything. Just if we're right, who's wrong? Because in religion, someone has to be wrong because someone has to be right. And I never got that. Is there one God? Is there a God for each religion? Is there, I just couldn't get my arms around this religion.
Yeah.
And so it started there where I started questioning kind of all the things. And my childhood ended up being a little traumatic and, like a lot of people, there's some trauma involved. And as I kind of grew and got older, I didn't stop questioning. I probably got more rebellious in why, what's it all for, those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, though, I started towing the line. So I was always a black sheep, always kind of doing the wrong thing, always, always just real questioning and probably ornery,
Yeah.
And then at some point, I didn't want to be seen that way anymore. I wanted to be successful in my family's eyes. I wanted to have success, and what I tell people is, we're born these free little beings, and then we're layered upon with stories and beliefs and expectations, and for me, I kind of fought all that for a while, but then at some point I just accepted the stories, just started accepting in the stories. And really, if I'm going to be honest, it was when I was like 19, I got pregnant, and I ended up putting my son, who we're close now, and he has my grandkids and everything, but I put him up for adoption because I didn't know what else to do. And I really didn't think, based on my childhood, I didn't think I was suited for parenting. So that kind of changed my rebellious attitude because I really felt there was so much shame and grief. And oh my gosh, I kind of lost my will to be rebellious, and I just fell right into the line. How am I going to make up for this?
Yeah.
How am I going to prove I'm worthy and I'm okay? and that this big sacrifice was worth it.
Yeah.
So it was huge. It was a huge shift in my life. And the shame was overwhelming. And I kept that buried for many, many years. And at that point in my life, I fell into, okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to get married. I'm supposed to buy a house. I'm supposed to have a career. I'm supposed to be successful. I'm supposed to make money, like all these things, right? And I did it. I did it well. I had a 30-year successful corporate career, and buried myself under other people's
expectations
and really fell in line with the story. Julie is this, Julie is that. And at some point, well, I was really just terribly unhappy. My soul was just being crushed, and I didn't know why. I just couldn't figure it out. And I kept seeking, kept going to Deepak Chopra events, kept going to, reading Eckhart Tolle. Like I did all the things.
Looking for yourself.
Looking for myself, trying to figure out what is going on. Why am I so unhappy? And I don't know, when I turned about 45, I realized I had to make a full stop, or I was just I would die. I was so, like, I was becoming physically ill from just my soul not exploring what it's supposed to explore, and mentally just depressed. And at that point, I decided it was time to make a big shift in my life. It took a long time. It took a couple of years of therapy and a lot of talking to my angels and a lot of stuff to make the switch, because it was so embedded in me to be successful.
Yeah.
So, but I did. And at that point, I started doing a lot of freeform writing. The Artist Way. I don't know if you know, that book's so great.
Now, let me stop you there.
Mm-hmm.
For people who don't understand, what is freeform writing?
I'll tell you, it's one of the best things ever. It's, you just, when you wake up in the morning, and even before you get your coffee, you sit down, take a few deep breaths, and just start writing, not consciously, unconscious, write whatever comes through the pen.
Yeah.
And it's really awkward at first when you first start doing it. I mean, there was pages that I wrote, I don't know what I'm doing. This is silly. Like I'd start like that. And all of a sudden, I kept it up, and just stuff deep rooted in my body, old trauma, things just kept coming up for me and releasing one by one. I did it every morning. And the thing about freeform writing is there's no punctuation, there's no spelling, there's no worrying. If these are pages you're going to want to burn later, because if someone read them, they think you were nuts, so just writing. Yeah. And at some point, you just let it go. At some point, a few months into it, I told my husband, I think I'm writing a book. I think there's a book coming out. And that was my first book. It was I called it the Manifestor's Playbook. And it really could have been called The Little Book of Self-Love, either way. And that book is all about how to love yourself more every day. Just tips and tricks on how to, like, daily habits, really easy, bite-sized things, where you can start to reclaim who you are and how magical and wonderful you are. So that was kind of the first step, and it's been quite a journey. I mean, I will say, our job, everybody's job, is to love themselves more, so they can spread love in the world. That's what we need right now. We need to bring light and love in the world, and the only way you can do that is if your own well is full.
Exactly, and this is what I'm saying to people, and the way you think about it is not that your cup is half empty, but your cup is half full, and it's getting fuller and fuller and fuller until you feel that, and you're literally overflowing with that. Then you start sharing it with people.
That's right. That's right.
Something
People
you
think,
said, sorry, go ahead.
no, well, you go ahead.
Yeah, something you said when you were going through this journey of trying to find yourself. You did Deepak Chopra, you did Eckhart Tolle, and all this. Did you find that even what they were saying was helping you, but there was still something else? Because obviously you did all this, and even getting to understand about self-love, it starts with that journey of taking the first step of listening, of going through.
Yeah, I think healing and unraveling your stories, so you got to unravel all these beliefs and thoughts that aren't even yours first. You got to figure all that out. And so the way I look at it, all these different events, I mean, I've been to, I don't know, 50 events. I mean, I'm just I love these things.
Yeah.
But it's, you learn the lesson in a spiral. So, each lesson I learn, the next time I learn it is deeper and deeper. So maybe 10 years ago, I was at a Deepak Chopra event and I learned something.
Yeah.
And then, 5 years later, I'm way deeper in the core.
Yeah.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah, because it has to start somewhere.
I tell people, you start where you are. Start where you are. Don't try to start down the road. Take what resonates with you, what feels good in your body, and start there. There's not one size for everybody.
Thank you.
There's not one size. Yeah.
And it's one step at a time. And it's not necessarily this step is going to open up everything. Depending on your trauma that's inside of you, depending on the muck that's inside of you, depending on the pain that's inside of you, you have to start working through and lifting out the layers. And it takes time.
It takes time. It takes compassion. It takes forgiveness for yourself and for others. It takes all of that. It takes a lot of meditation, in my opinion, a lot of listening. I'll tell you the first Deepak Chopra event, because it's funny you say that, because this is the first one I ever went to. I dove right into a 7-day meditation. Anyway, so there's people that were pretty advanced there. But anyway, he walked in the first general session and he said, "Tell me what you're grateful for," to the audience. And I was I was really in a bad place at that time. And I was I don't know, what am I grateful for? I was like, eh. And he said, the answer should be everything. And that changed my life. It changed, and but at that time, it changed my life on not as deep of a level as it has changed my life now. But I use that all the time.
Yeah.
I use that all the time. But that was my first introduction to that everything happens for you. Nothing happens against you. And so that's what I learned. And I started playing with that. I was able to start playing with that, I should be grateful for everything.
Let me stop you there. Just in that particular point is so important, because I can imagine you sitting there in all your pain, and so many of us sitting there in all of pain, and somebody says, "What are you grateful for?" And you're thinking, nothing.
Yeah.
And when that person says, you've got to be grateful for everything. And when you're at that stage where you are really searching, it makes you jolt. It puts a jolt on you to say, what the heck is this person talking about? And it forces you to stop and think. Am I correct? And that's when the magic starts, because you've had to stop, think, and start to look. And that's when you start to go deep and start to understand the work that you need to do. It's understanding and accepting that pain, whatever you've gone through, is for a reason.
It's all for a reason, and it's how we adapt to it. And
yes,
what I learned that trip was energy begets energy. I mean, that room was so energetic with good vibration. I mean, people were so I was like high every time I walked into the room. So I understood then that the energy that we put out and the energy people put out is a real thing. That was the
Yeah.
first time I really got that, which was
Yeah.
huge. You know, so
Yeah.
what I bring into a room with me is what
Yes.
I am giving to other people. And,
That's right.
you know, that kind of blew my mind. And then I learned that we just talked about, that we should be grateful for everything. And that changed my life. That was the beginning of really profound changes in my life. I mean, I'll tell you, every event I've gone to, there's been some click, and it's not the whole event, it's
No.
something,
Hmm.
and it's always been worth it. And and it's because if you show up with a beginner's mind,
Hmm.
with an open mind, ready
Yeah.
to receive, you'll
Yes.
receive what you need.
Yeah. You've got to let go and be humble that you don't
Yeah.
know when you're there.
We don't know what we don't know, you know.
This is it.
This
We
is
don't know,
it.
but
So
what we know is that we don't know anything. You might be that compared to that.
oh my
And
gosh,
that's
it's so
reality.
true. We just don't know what we don't know. So I try to check my ego at the door. You know, I ask my angels uh to help bypass my ego. Like on this conversation, that was my prayer before we got on,
Yeah.
that my ego step aside and let this conversation be for the greater good of all concerned.
Yes.
I do that. I repeat that all the time,
Yes.
you know, because we all have egos and we all get,
Oh,
you know,
oh,
and so it's important to check ourselves and remember, you know, why we're here and what we're trying to do. And anyway, I'll say, you know, one of the things I wrote in my first book was, listen, there's a lot of tips and tricks in here. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest. Maybe you'll come back to it, maybe you won't. But
mhm.
don't try 7 things at once. Try one thing at a time. One thing at a time.
Good.
And I think that's where people get overwhelmed. There's so much, you know.
Let me ask you at this stage. All right, you've written books, but you've gone through so much pain and you're going along this road and you're getting these little nuggets and you're starting to peel things away and you're starting to walk down that road. At what point did you come to when you realized, I've got things to do, I've got things to share? What brought this up? What pushed it in your face to say, you've got a job?
I'll tell you, it's been such a long journey with that. Since I've been going to all these healing modalities and all these things, people have told me, like, I've done, you know, a lot of energy work. I've done all this stuff, and they they they'll tell me, you're a healer. You're meant to be a healer. You have something to say. And I'd be like, this is long, you know, 20 years ago, and I didn't believe them. Like, really? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But it kept happening, kept happening, kept happening. It got nuts, you know. And so that's always kind of been in the back of my mind. But it wasn't until I understood and started to unravel all the stories and started to love myself for me,
Yes.
regardless of how anybody else feels about me. When I stopped performing for people,
Mhm.
that's when my heart opened to bigger things. And that's when I could see the pain in other people's. I'm able to witness the pain in other people's stories now.
Yes.
You know, watching them tell their story, I get teary now thinking about it, because uh, it means so much to me when people share their stories with me, and I want to help them get to where they can self-validate and love themselves fully, so those stories can just go
Come
away. They don't need them. You know,
Yeah.
you don't need the story.
Anymore. It's
No.
very humbling. It's very humbling when you're doing this work, this light work, I call it, and to help people. And because of the journeys that we've gone through and what we've experienced, it helps us to understand a little bit more um, the pain, and see the pain in others. And that's where the compassion comes in, when you realize what you've gone through. and what you see others go through, and it isn't deliberate.
No.
And you start
Yeah,
to understand,
I know.
oh, Deepak, and all these other things you're
Mhm.
starting to realize about yourself and about life and who we are. And it is about us and what we bring in because of karma, whatever, and what we have the power to do. And you start, and we're all connected, and we're all here for that journey. And then you realize, oh my God. And you really start to have compassion when you see people do things,
Oh,
and you start to go deeper. Julie, you've you've as you said, what, what I'm seeing in your story and in so many, in all of us, there's always a pattern. You started off in your childhood with this, with religion, and yet then questioning the religion because what you've heard from the religion, and then what you saw how you were being treated.
mhm.
It's like it never married.
It doesn't match up.
Why we question religion, because it didn't marry. And it's, and I need to say here, you know, we all turn around going different things, but it's all coming back to that force, is that the answer is there, the energies, that everything is there, but somehow we became disconnected through the families and everything we do, and we're not doing what we're supposed to, and we create all this pain. And therefore our single journey, when I say single, individual journey, is to get back to that light and work through that pain and be stronger, and then notice that pain in others, because this is part of your work, as you say. And I'm watching you when you're talking, and sometimes you become tearful when you're thinking about others and
Yeah.
you're working with others, because of what you've gone through. You feel that pain.
I,
I mean, when you work with people, what reactions do you get?
oh, people always have opened up to me, even when I wasn't ready, or I didn't think I was
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
People always like to tell me things. And I mean, even my trainer at the gym, I met him, and within 2 weeks, he's telling me, all his stories. And I love it. I'm there for it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of always been the situation with me. And so I listen.
Mhm.
I like to hold space for people and witness,
Yes.
and let them release. And I like to share my story if it helps.
Yes.
We're all these chapters, and I can go back to these previous chapters and not relive them for somebody,
Yes.
to help them get to their next chapter. And
Mhm.
I like to remind people that, and I do cry a lot. I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I wasn't even with a client. I was doing Koya. I don't know if you know, it's like a dance release of energy, and she had us partner with people, and the girl was telling me, she was telling me something about our last interaction, and I just started crying because she had released so much pain,
Mhm.
and it was so special.
Yes.
For me, tears are just the easiest way for me to release emotion, because I am an empath. I feel a lot.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I mean, in my corporate world, it was mortifying. I would cry. And it wasn't that I was mad or but there would be so much emotion I couldn't hold
Yeah.
back the tears. And that freaked a lot of men out. But
Because you can feel what's going on and that it's not right,
yeah,
and something
yeah,
inside wants to rebel, and
yeah,
it's very difficult to rebel, to do what you need to do. So
yeah.
now you've come forward, and 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 needless to say, if I'm correct, although you've worked through your pain, there's still a lot more, because it's layers. It doesn't it's a continual journey. It's a continual effort.
I always tell people, until you're Buddha status, until you're fully enlightened, you're gonna be
Keep
working
on.
through stuff. We're human,
That's
so until we can pull material things out of thin air,
yeah.
we're going to go through stuff, and that's just life, and that's our
Yeah.
lesson. These are our lessons. And now, though, when I get triggered, I am grateful. I'm excited, because that's where the work is, like,
Yeah.
oh, there's something to work on, because you're going through life and you're feeling pretty good about stuff, and then bam, something happens.
Something.
Yeah. And then that's where the juice is. That's where you
Yeah.
get to go and dig deep and explore. And now, why did that piss me off? Like, what just happened? And
What do I need to change or understand?
yes, what do I need to change, release, understand? What part of me, what version of me was offended by this?
Yeah.
And was it even mine? Like,
Mhm.
something happened a couple of months ago, and I was having a big reaction to it. And then I was like, I always ask myself, is this even yours? Is this even yours? And
Yeah.
the answer that time was no. This is just some pattern you learned from your mom. Let it go. You don't need this pattern anymore. It's not even yours. You don't even believe that. So if you start to witness these things and question them instead of being in
Yeah.
them, yeah, you'll get the answers.
Yeah.
I always tell people, we have everything we need inside. We are the light.
Yes.
We are our own healers.
Yes.
We don't give away your power to anybody to heal you.
Yeah.
You heal yourself. I can help you on your path, maybe open a door or show you light away,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
you're
Have
the
to do
healer. You have to do that. And you have everything you already need inside of you. Everything. You're already whole.
Because unfortunately, we are the ones who let this negativity in. So we are the ones now who have to stand up and shift it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Yeah.
we don't shift it, we are not creating the being that we're meant to be. Nobody can do it for you. Otherwise, you still remain limp and volatile and not the person you're meant to be. Julie, I've seen in your bio, you're also a health and wellness instructor. Through all this, it's brought you to that. Now, what brought you to the health side? What triggered that?
That's another thing that I've always been interested in. I knew that if it didn't come from the plant, from the earth, you shouldn't eat it. Like, I've always been that person. Like, if you don't know what it says on a package, don't eat it.
Yeah.
I was raised in the convenience era when margarine was first introduced, and boxes of cake and TV dinners, and we ate a lot of those growing up. That's how I was raised. My mom worked 3 jobs, and we ate a lot of convenience food.
Yeah.
And she worked hard. Yeah, and she just and no one knew any better than either.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got older, when I bought my own groceries, I started to really learn about food and how it makes me feel, and what's happening in my body when I eat it, and all those things. And when I left my career, I said earlier, I was really run down and actually very physically ill.
Mm-hmm.
I was such a hard driver. I worked out, I did all these things. I was a single mom for a long time, and I just wore my adrenals right out. I was just worn out. So, because I believe that we have to be our own advocate, we have to understand our own bodies, our own souls. I tell, do not you need to be your own advocate. I learned about health and wellness. I decided to take a deep dive for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to know? And what's going to help me live a healthy lifestyle? My goal is to live, I don't care how long I live. I just want to be able to climb a mountain until I drop dead.
You want to be healthy all the way.
All the way. Yeah, I want to be healthy all the way. And that doesn't mean I want to live to 120. I just want to, I just want to live until
Yes.
till I don't. And so I learned about health and wellness for me. And I share it a lot. I don't do health coaching particularly. Like I don't take on clients that just want, I believe we're all,
It's all a part.
yeah, it's all the parts. And that's one part. Taking
Yeah.
care of your body is one part. Taking care of your gut health. Your gut health is just directly tied to everything. It's tied to your immunity. It's tied to your mood. It's tied to everything. So
Yeah.
So I am that annoying person. I've always been that annoying person, though. There's all kinds of stories about me at work, and I always was one. I packed my lunch almost every day. I was a corporate executive, and everybody would go to lunch, and I would say, "Oh, I brought mine." I just didn't want to eat when people were eating.
Yeah.
I did sometimes, but I just
Occasionally it's okay, but not all the time.
not all the time. And so I've always been that way. I just, your body is a gift from God. It's the most, what other gift are you going to get that's anything close to your miraculous body?
And it's an energy body. It's an energy, electrical. So
yeah. So that's what I believe. And it's just one piece of the whole for me. And I learned it. And that's why I learned Reiki too. I wanted to bring more love and light in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I became a Reiki master. I just learned how to work with the energy. And so now I can, I do a lot of Reiki on myself. I'm sending love to you right now. It's just, I usually do things so I can, for myself, and then I can share them.
Yeah. And it is about, as you say, how you how you show up, how you show yourself. If you have that positive energy, that loving energy, that loving vibe that you're giving out, it will affect others so that they too will feel that love. Don't, even in their times of down, they can feel it, and hopefully it will help to pick them up. And this is about, because we're all connected and helping one another.
Yeah.
So it's so important.
I wrote a series of children's books for this very message. It's called The Adventures of the Fabulous Three, and one of the books is all about how I wrote this before the pandemic, and I actually use the word happy pandemic, smile epidemic, happy pandemic. And it's about how smiles are contagious. How if I smile at you, you might smile at somebody, they might smile at somebody. You can change your own day. You can change their day. Like just one smile for someone that's really lonely. We don't know what people are going through. And what if a hello, and you look them in the eye, and what if that changed the way they felt that day, just even for a minute?
When I'm working with people, I try to make them realize sometimes when they're annoyed at things that's going on around them, and just what you said, you don't know what the other person or people are going through, and then they turn around and they react, and then you react, and as you go deeper with the light work, and you realize that each one of us are carrying our own burdens and negativities, and we don't realize it. And so sometimes when people do things, sometimes you just have to take a step back, or just swallow what happens, not because we're dumb or stupid. We don't know what the other person's going through, and they really don't mean it.
And it doesn't, it is true. It doesn't matter. It's your reaction. Can you keep your peace?
Yes.
My goal in life is to keep my peace, no matter the situation. So I'm much better than I was. I'm not perfect, but it's a practice. I tell people life is a practice. Just be willing to practice. You're going to slip up. Things are going to happen. It's okay. Go back to your tools. The more you exercise these things, the better you're going to be. And I don't lose my peace very often. I do, but I I'm able to take a breath usually. The biggest thing I think people can do when someone's coming at them or they're getting upset is to take a step back and take a breath. Give yourself a sacred pause before you react, before you react. And I do that a lot. If I could feel the feeling, you start to get, I'm getting irritated.
Yes.
I'll do and I'll just hang on a minute until I have it under control again. And I could say, then at that point, you can tell somebody, hey, we should come back to sit another time or whatever, but you don't have, that's one thing I learned is not everything has to be addressed in the moment. You can address things when you're ready to address them. And life is just one big experiment. It's one big lesson. And going back to what you said about people are just people, really, I have always said people do their best. They're not holding out on you. That's their best.
Thank you.
And this is your best right now.
Yeah.
So, everybody's doing their best. Everybody. It doesn't matter. Everybody's doing their best. That's what they've got.
Yeah.
And so if you can just remember that, they're not holding out on you. They're not going to give that to somebody else and not you. That is their best.
Yeah.
And this is your best.
And they're going through their journey in the way they know how.
Right.
We are going through our own journey, whether we're realizing our pain and working with the light and understanding the spiritual side, because we are spiritual beings with a physical body having a human experience, but not everybody is aware of it.
Right.
And those of us who are aware of it, we then, and going through our pain, realize we've got to work through spirit, understanding who we are and understanding that, and start to unravel. All those who haven't realized that, they're doing the best they know how at their level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Unfortunately or fortunately.
We're just all on a different journey. Like you said before, we're all in different spots and we're all on our own path. And, if you have kids, you learn that pretty quick, that they're not you. They're on their own.
Yeah.
They're a little
time. Let them do their own thing, whether you like it or not. They are who they are. They came through for their journey. You've held them for a while, and now you've got to let them go.
Now you got to let them go, be on their own, and make their own decisions. And that's the way it is with everybody.
Yeah. And that's everybody. Yes. Yeah. It's not just your kids. If you realize how you think with your kids and how you love with your kids, and that's how you need to think for other people and love with other people, because they're your kids in this lifetime. In a previous lifetime, there was somebody else's children.
Yeah.
That's a talk for another time,
Well, I know. My son, Callan, and I have been through many lifetimes together. It's, we're like a bonded pair, and it's created some enmeshment things in this lifetime we've had to work through. Because, but it's all so fascinating, It's just so fascinating. But I don't know. People, I think we overcomplicate everything, including spirituality. And it's really just coming home to yourself, learning how to come home and trust yourself. And that starts with, in my opinion, just remembering who you are, looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror and telling yourself you love you. And I know people get all weirded out about that, but the first thing I tell people is go look in the mirror and say, I love you.
Yeah.
Tell yourself I love you. What? Yeah. People can't do it. They're so uncomfortable doing that. And I say, I do that every time I walk by a mirror. I say, oh, good job. Or I love you. Or every time. It changed the way I felt about myself. It changed the narrative in my head that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't do enough, just those simple things, little simple things in life can change your whole life. It's the start. It's the start on a path. I just tell people to start somewhere. Start where you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because when they're looking in that mirror, they're seeing how they're feeling now, and that's not who they really are.
Mm-mm.
they've got to go deeper. And as I say, you've got to go deeper and connect to source and connect to the light of which we are a creation of, and that we've become disconnected. And we have to start somewhere.
We have to start somewhere.
So, Julie, you mentioned that you wrote 3 books for children. And what else, what are the books that, we can, for those who are listening, that they might be interested? And what other books have you done? And how do you work with people? So let's hear about, so people can connect with you.
Well, I've written the Manifestor's Playbook. Like I said, that was my first book. And I that book is good for anybody starting a journey, anybody that doesn't know where to begin. It really is written in bullet points. It's very concise.
And could you repeat that title again?
It's called the Manifestor's Playbook.
The Manifestor's Playbook. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And then I wrote a workbook to accompany it, because I have a lot of friends in my life that are workbook people. They like the tactile.
Yeah.
So and my third book is called Roar, and that's coming out. That will come out in the fall. That's being edited right now.
Okay.
And that one is about Roar stands for reclaiming your voice, owning your story, aligning with your journey, and radiating your light. So that book is a little it's deeper than the Manifestor's Playbook. It's kind of the next things after the Manifestor's Playbook. And that book, for me, that book made me step up quite a bit into my own power, into my own voice. It really, this book has been a journey for me. And
I'm listening to the title, and it says manifesting, your manifesting playbook. Just tell us a little bit, because you're talking about manifestation. How has that helped you in your life?
Oh my gosh.
Well, you've done it, and you're so taken in with it, and now you've written a book. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, like I said, it's called the Manifestor's Playbook, and it also could have been called a little book of self-love, but it is, because what people don't understand about manifesting, and I think why it gets such a bad rap, is it feels very material. I want $1 million. I want a Ferrari or whatever, we're manifesting all the time. I mean, every thought, every feeling, we're co-creating our lives with the universe. So me being on this podcast with you is a manifestation. This is what we did. Okay.
Yes.
So what I tell people is, you want to intentionally manifest. It doesn't have to be specific. Like, I want $1 million. Yeah. My manifestation for a long time was, I want a healthy body, and I want inner peace.
Yeah.
Okay. So and that's what I worked on. That's what I drew to me. So before you can manifest, you have to set intentions for your life. And I believe before you can set true intentions for what you want out of your life, you have to understand who you are, and love yourself enough to know you deserve them.
Yeah.
You can only manifest what you believe you deserve.
Please let me stop you there. Repeat what you just said.
You can only
very, very important.
Yeah. You can only manifest what you believe you deserve.
Yeah.
So I mean, the truth is, you can pull something in, but you'll lose it if you aren't vibrating with it. So, I mean, we talk about this a lot, the lottery winners, they, most of these lottery winners, they pull in the millions of dollars, and they're broker than they were 2 years later.
Yeah.
You can pull something in, but you won't be able to keep it.
Yeah.
So it's really important to love yourself, understand yourself, and believe yourself worthy.
Yeah.
And that you are enough. You deserve it just because you're a child of God.
And can I say, and I think you'll probably say yes to this, as you just said, people always talking about the money, the lottery, the this, the that, all the, but when you manifest and believe you deserve to be happy, you deserve to live in a lovely home, you deserve to live in a lovely environment and have lovely people around you. Some people have millions and they're miserable. Right. Some people have millions and they're unhealthy. They have different things wrong with them, and all that money spending won't correct it. So it's very important to really sit back and think of, well, if you had the millions, how would you live? How would you feel? What would you have? And instead of asking for the millions, ask for how you would feel, what
Right.
you would like, the type of life you want, the type of friends you want. You want genuine friends. You don't want to be a millionaire with millionaire status and everybody's false. And,
Right. That's
I'd
exactly
rather
right.
have 500,000 and know that the friends that I've got around me are genuine, and you can have heart-to-heart conversations. And those friends, when you are a bit confused about something, you can talk to them, and their wisdom will help you to see something.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important, not just the money. It's the
Right.
lifestyle, the feeling, the health, the strength, the wisdom to live the life you want to live.
That's right. We have, our society has made everything material, and that's why manifesting has, I think people roll their eyes at it, oh, I'm gonna wish I have I'm gonna wish I had $1 million and put it on a vision board and it's gonna show up, you get like, but that's not what it is. We're manifesting all the time. And I do have vision boards because I'm very visual. So
Yeah.
for me, and the art of putting them together is how I set intentions also. So it's a whole thing for me. But one of my vision boards is about health and wellness. One
Mm-hmm.
of them is about community, connection, and sharing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and one of them is about my business, about helping people and how I want to feel and where I want that to take me. So it really, you have to think about what you said. How do you
Mm-hmm.
want to feel in your life? Do you want to
Yeah.
love yourself? Do you want to love your life? It doesn't have anything to do, that saying where people say you are where you are. I mean, you
Yeah.
still are who you are wherever you are. It's the same thing with
Yes.
money or a big house or whatever. If you're miserable, you're going to be miserable with money. It just doesn't
Thank
change
you.
anything. It just
Yeah.
doesn't change
It
anything.
makes sense. It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
it doesn't make any sense. So start where you are. Start where you are in this journey, and start unfolding what you believe about yourself and
Yeah.
how you feel about yourself.
And work on that belief.
Work on
Because
that
again,
belief.
it's part of that journey where you felt you weren't worthy.
Mm-hmm.
You're always trying to be somebody to please the family or to please the friend or to please the work. So and that leads to depression and all things which you went through. So it's about starting to really love yourself, understanding yourself, connecting to that source and light, finding it, being and knowing that you're that worthy being. And then from that step you say you are worthy to have A, B, C, or D. And the feelings that go with it. Feelings is energy. Everything is energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
working that.
Yeah, I can't state it enough. We've already said it, but if you can't believe it, you can't have it,
That's
you
right.
know. And so it's all in the feeling, and that's why I tell people start where you are. Don't start over here if you're not there. If you're here, start here.
Here, yeah.
Yeah.
And through that, everything will work out.
Yeah.
Julie, it's been lovely, but before we say goodbye, we've talked about your books. Now, I've heard that you work with people. How can people contact you? And what do you do? Do you do one-to-ones, or do you do groups, or what is it?
I do one-on-one, and I also am starting to put together some workshops. So those will be on my website later in the month,
Mm-hmm.
um, throughout the rest of the year. But I'm easily accessible at my website. It's hellojulieheaton.com.
That's right. Hello, julieheaton.com. Hello, Julie Heaton, all one word, lowercasing, of course.
Yeah. And that's all my social handles too. So Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever, but anywhere someone wants to find me, Hello Julie Heaton is the way to do it.
Lovely. Julie, before we say goodbye to you, leave us with something, one golden nugget that you would like to share with people to help them along their journey. What would you say?
Oh gosh, just one golden nugget.
You can have a few if you want.
um,
This was something to help, to
yeah,
inspire.
I would say that the thing that helps me the most, even today, is knowing that nothing meant for me will pass me by, that divine timing is always the right time.
Yes.
So that calms me down a lot when I'm anxious about getting this book, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just remember, Julie, nothing meant for you will pass you by. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And divine, remembering that we do all this, but we do all this because there's a greater power that created us, of which we need to connect to and find, so that we can walk that journey.
Yes, I 100% agree. I feel like we should be best friends. I wish we lived closer.
Look, there's the internet. I'll tell you, we will connect, don't worry, because we need to encourage one another. So, Julie, anything else to say? Any other golden nugget? I said one, but you said just one. So have you got another?
Well, I've said this earlier, but the first step for me in changing my life and the way I felt about myself, just myself, is looking in the mirror and really looking in my eyes and saying nice things to myself. I do this naked because I have a thing about body image. There's all this stuff, and then I thank my body. I think it every morning when I wake up. Thank you for being so strong. Thank you for getting me from here to there. Thank you. I thank it all the time. I use thank you about 1,000,000 times a day for all kinds of things, and that's how I show gratitude. So I would say, look yourself in the eye, say nice things to your face, and find things to be grateful for. Find gratitude. Smell a flower, say thank you. Feel the wind, say thank you. Take a breath, say thank you.
And I like what you just said. Gratitude is so important. So when you're saying, I love you, thank you for this, thank you, it is gratitude and earlier on when you went to Deepak and he said, what are you grateful for? And you thought, well, I'm not grateful for anything. And then finding out, oh, well, yes. And it is about gratitude.
It is.
Well,
it's all about gratitude.
Julie Heaton, thank you so much for this. It's nearly been an hour. Thank you so much for my program. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Thank you to everybody for listening. And for now, goodbye. And I'll speak to you again with another guest. Bye for now.